Hey, nice to see you again on the channel. If you're new to the site, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell for notifications so you don't miss any of our great content about Elvis Presley and all things Grace. We have a fascinating journey ahead of us, and I promise you won't want to miss what's coming up. So buckle up, sit back, and let's dive into the rich history. Elvis Presley's legendary home has places and memories that will live on forever. Grace Anderson, Elvis's granddaughter, has promised to keep some parts of Graceland off limits to the public, just like her mother, Lisa Marie Presley Riley Keough. One room in particular, the upstairs, has remained a private sanctuary for the Presley family, including Elvis's personal bedroom. But why is this upper floor, which is so important, still off limits to the public? Let's dig deeper into this mystery in order to find out. In which people go to pray. Elvis Presley's home is the center of his legacy, but there's a part of the house that not many people get to see. The stairwell that leads to the second floor is a private area that not many people have been able to experience firsthand, and for people who visit the mansion, it's almost like holy ground. Why is this area kept so secret? Well, even during his lifetime, Elvis Presley didn't let many people go upstairs to the main floor of Graceland, but he was always open to fans were welcome on the upper floor, but Elvis was very picky about who could go there. It was a place he loved for solitude and reflection. Oh, you're still not going to let me up there? Some fans have joked when they learn that the upstairs wasn't for visitors. The answer is still the same even after Elvis' death. Lisa Marie Presley, his daughter, was very protective of these areas because they held so many special memories of her time with her father. The upstairs wasn't for visitors, the place where she shared her most private moments with Elvis, a safe haven where she could get away from the world when she was in her 40s. Lisa Marie wrote about how she feels about going back to Graceland. I'm always so happy when I'm here. It takes me back to a time in my life when I was the happiest. It's like stepping into a different world, and it always brings me right back to those memories. Her words are a beautiful reminder of what it's like to be with her father again, because she and the rest of the Presley family have such a strong emotional connection to this legendary home. It's not just a mansion, it's a place full of moments frozen in time that shaped the lives of the people who have lived there. When Elvis moved into Graceland for the first time in 1957, the second floor had 4 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms. El started to make it his own right away. He turned the bedroom on the left into a closet, and the bedroom on the right side of the house's back became his office, where he could work alone. In addition to the bathrooms for Elvis and Lisa Marie, any of Elvis's girlfriends or wives could use a third bathroom. These rooms were more than just useful. They were a part of how Graceland worked and showed Elvis's attitude and way of life. Lisa Marie's bedroom was right next to Elvis's, which made it easy for her to be close to her father. Sadly, Lisa Marie was in the room when Elvis died, and it was one of the worst times of her life. She later talked about how she felt at the time. I knew something was wrong because I was in my room, which was right next to his bathroom, and I could hear all the noise. It was terrifying. I knew something was wrong, and I was a complete mess. I was confused because I didn't know what was going on. It all felt like a nightmare before 1968. Lisa's great-grandmother, Minnie Mae Presley, lived in her room before she was born. When Lisa was born, the room became her nursery. This little part of Graceland was full of love and family history. Elvis's mom, moving downstairs, Minnie Mae moved into a room on the first floor that had been Gladys and Vernon Presley's bedroom. Graceland was and still is a place where generations of the Presley family lived, loved, and made memories together. Now that Elvis's granddaughter Riley Keough is in charge of the estate, she has decided to keep the upstairs private, not just for family privacy, but also for practical reasons, according to the official Graceland guidebook. There are so many visitors every year that it would be impossible to handle them all at once. The upstairs hallways and rooms are not set up in a way that makes this possible, so some remodeling would have to be done. No one wants to mess with the original structure, so the upstairs is not expected to be on the public tour. This is a big reason why the upstairs stays off limits. would mean changing the foundation of the house, which goes against the Presley family's promise to keep it the way it was when Elvis lived there. Even though people may wonder what it's like to be able to walk through those rooms, Graceland's protection is still the most important thing. There's an interesting door at the top of the stairs on the left side of the second floor. This door leads to another set of stairs that go straight down into the kitchen. Elvis designed the house this way so that he could easily sneak into the kitchen from upstairs without having to walk through the main living and dining rooms, which were usually full of guests. This clever layout let him move around the house quietly and without being bothered. The open railing that used to run along the upstairs hallway and look down at the stairs below is another interesting feature. According to the Graceland guidebook, this open railing is still there, but Elvis made the choice to build a wall and door around the upstairs hallway. This change was made to protect Elvis's privacy so that he could enjoy his own space without being bothered by people outside the house. The door to the second floor is on the left side of the house and isn't easy to see from the first floor. It's hidden, as if to protect the memories and treasures that are hidden within the walls of the upstairs rooms. These places have always been important to the Presley family, and for good reason. Riley Keough never met her grandfather, but heard stories about him as a child and visited Graceland many times. She has fond memories of the mansion. Usually when we went, there weren't any tours going on because it was later and we were having dinner. The house would feel full of family. It wasn't like a museum. It was alive with people, cousins running around, and that feeling of home. I remember walking through the kitchen with my mom and hearing her say, "Go say hello to Aunt Delta." I was always a little nervous as I walked to the door, but Aunt Delta always had a warm, welcoming vibe about her. She was a real car. Aunt Delta Presley was a very important person in the Presley family. She lived in Graceland from 1967 until her death in 1993 and was close to Elvis. She told me that Elvis sent 2 of his guys to check on me when her husband had a heart attack. She said that Elvis cared deeply about his family, and Aunt Delta was no different. All of my staff and I have been living here since 1967, and Edmund, Elvis's daughter, well, he kind of adopted me, so after Elvis died, I took care of him. The decorations at Graceland have also changed over the years. In 1970, Elvis's girlfriend Linda Thompson redecorated the first floor. One big change was that the living room and dining room were painted a bright red color. Elvis didn't like all that red, though, when Aunt Delta said. Once it was up, he started using the back stairs so he wouldn't have to see it. "Dad, we wish we could have all that beautiful blue and white decor that's stored away. He really liked that." Elvis had always been fond of red, but the redesign of the first floor, particularly with Linda Thompson's influence, went a bit further than he initially expected. The red decor became iconic, but it was also a reminder of Elvis's unique and ever-evolving taste. In fact, he had been photographed by Commercial Appeal in 1965 inside Graceland, where he posed in rooms filled with red draperies, giving us a glimpse of his love for this color. But what we see today, white couches and blue draperies, is actually closer to how the house originally looked when Elvis moved in back in 1957. Over time, Elvis made some changes, switching out the blue for white in the walls and reupholstering the furniture. The current blue draperies were installed in the late 1960s or early 1970s when Priscilla Presley lived there with Elvis. Although it's clear whether Priscilla influenced this change, it's clear that she had a significant role in the reopening of Graceland to the public. In 1982, the red decorations from the 1970s were taken down, giving the house a more classic look. Linda Thompson once said it was his house and it was his taste. I know that some people wish it had stayed the way he had it before, with his rock and roll Elvis flair still visible, but things change and we respect that. The downstairs rooms in Graceland didn't change much in the 1970s, but Linda Thompson did work with Memphis designer William Eubanks to redecorate. both the TV room and the pool room giving them cool new looks. One of the most famous rooms in Graceland is the Jungle Room, and Linda Thompson remembers that Elvis had a very clear idea of what he wanted the room to look like. Back then, it wasn't called the Jungle Room, it was just the Den. But Elvis loved Hawaii, which is probably why we chose that furniture. He was so childlike in so many ways, so playful and happy. He once told me, "I want moss growing on the floor, on the walls, and on the ceiling." So we're going to carpet. If your furniture is thick green, you want moss on the walls. Lisa said, "Yes, that's what I want." Elvis smiled and said, "Okay, sweetheart. If that's what you want, you got it." Elvis could adorn his home however he pleased, of course. Now, the Jungle Room is still one of the most talked about rooms in Graceland. It's a true reflection of his personality and his desire to make a place that was all his own. If you liked this look into the history and significance of Graceland, please like and leave a comment. Leave a comment telling us what you think about how the decor at Graceland has changed over the years. Did you like the red or white decor better? Which room is your favorite? Also, don't forget to subscribe for more in-depth stories about the King himself. You can find more interesting facts, stories, and insider information by reading Trina Young's Elvis books or going to elvisbiography.net to read a free taster. Have a great day, and don't forget to hit that reminder button. Click the bell to make sure you never miss a video. We'll see you in the next one with more Elvis Presley material.